In the last video, we talked about inflorescence, especially we talked about the solitary kind of inflorescence. Now, in this video, we will be talking about racemose type of inflorescence. Now, let's understand racemose type of inflorescence. Racemose type of inflorescence is where the axis of the inflorescence has unlimited growth. We have already seen that. Okay, so we'll not discuss it again and again because it will consume your time. So here the flowers are arranged in an acropetal manner, which means that the older flowers are present at the base while the younger flowers are present towards the top. The individual flower may be sessile or pedunculated. Now when we are talking about the characteristic features of the racemose inflorescence, the main axis known as the peduncle and their main axis is indefinite and continuous to produce flower buds. The peduncle is monopodial in nature. The flowers grouping is less in common. The flowers are borne laterally in acropetal succession. That is, the older flowers are at the periphery and the younger flowers are on the top. The fruits which are forms, newly formed, are not protected by the flowers itself. The peduncles seldom always terminates in the flower. Now, if we see the inflorescence of racemose kind of inflorescence, the main type of the primary inflorescence in case of racemose is the raceme kind of inflorescence. Now, what happens if we see the definitions of the inflorescence of racemose, we know that the younger flower is coming on the top, while the older flower is towards the base. That is what is the definition of the racemose inflorescence. Now, raceme is the basic type of the racemose inflorescence, in which we see that there is the formation of pedicel. Okay, we have already discussed about what pedicel is all about. Okay, so this is the peduncle. Okay, now on the peduncle itself, there is a formation of pedicel, and that pedicel terminates into a flower, and the younger flower is on the top and the older flower is on the towards the periphery. Now if this pedicel is lost, okay, it will form another kind of racemose inflorescence, that is the spike. Okay, if you remember this diagram, it will be very easy to understand the different kind of inflorescence in case of racemose kind of inflorescence itself. And now if this internode is lost, okay, that means that all of the flower or pedicels is originating from the uh, same node. Okay, so the flower from which this is originating, this is called node. This is called node. Okay, so we have got two nodes. Okay, and between these two nodes, this area is called as the internode. So if this particular area between two nodes is the internode. If this internode is lost, okay, that means that the two pedicels are originating from the single node. Now, if this happens, it forms the umbel kind of inflorescence of the racemose. Okay, always remember that this racemose is the inflorescence where the arrangement of the flowers are younger on the top and the older on towards the periphery. Now, if this is lost, the younger flowers are towards the center and the older flower are towards the periphery. Now, if this particular nodes gets converted into a head-like structure, it forms the capitulum kind of capitulum inflorescence. Okay. And if this on the again on the pedicel itself, there is another formation of pedicels. Okay. Now this particular, when it is done, the compounding takes place in the resin, it forms the panicle kind of inflorescence. Okay. Apart from this four different kinds of inflorescence in the racemose, we have different other forms. So we'll be discussing on all of them one by one. Okay. Now let's start with the raceme kind of inflorescence. So when the flowers are pedicels, with pedicels are arranged in an acropetal manner. Now where this is seen, it is seen in case of Brassica compestris and Raphanus sativus. So it is basically most of them are found in the Brassiaceae family. So we have got the bracts here. Okay, uh, we have got bracts, and on the base of the bracts, the pedicel is coming out, the younger one on the top and the older one towards the periphery. Okay. Now this is the example of Brassica campestris or mustard, and this is an example of Raphanus sativus, that is the radish flower. Okay. So if you see here that the older flower, okay, now these older flowers are feathering out, okay, are dying out. So these are the older flowers, and the younger flower is coming on the towards the top. Okay, so this is the peduncle going on. So you'll find that the older flower, young older flowers that has been shaded off all the corolla. Okay. You see, the corolla has been shaded off. This is basically coming towards the top, and the younger flower will be coming on the top. So the older flower towards the base, and the younger flowers on the top. The other kind of inflorescence in case of raceme is the spike inflorescence. Now, when we discussed about the how it actually originated, we know that when the pedicels has been lost, it forms the spike inflorescence. Now, this spike inflorescence is seen in many cases, especially in case of Amaranthus, and in case of Acranthus, it is seen in Adathoda. It is seen also in the Chenopodium. Okay. Now, what is happening here is the flower are sessile. Now, raceme, when loses its pedicel, it becomes the spike inflorescence. If you remember this kind of steps, it will be easy for you to remember the type of inflorescence. Okay. This is the flower of Amaranthus, and this is the flower of Acranthus. The next type of inflorescence is the panicle kind of inflorescence. So we know that in what happens in case of the panicle, that the raceme inflorescence is branched. Okay. So from the pedicel itself, there are other pedicels coming out. Okay. Now that is what it forms. So this kind of inflorescence is known as the panicle. Now, what happens here is that it is a branched or compound raceme. Okay, it will be easy for you to understand or remember how what kind of inflorescence is all about when you understand the logic behind that. The branches of the panicle are often called often racemes. The panicles may have terminated, determinate, or the determinate kind of. It can be seen in many cases of inflorescence. In many, say for example, in case of sclerophrus, it is seen in other seen in rice. It is seen in Delnox rhizia. Now, what is happening is there that we have got the branched. Now, it's important here to understand is that when we talked about the bracts are there only at this particular end, and then we have got smaller bracts. So, if this, if we call this as one raceme, okay, and we have got this as one raceme. So when this raceme inflorescence are arranged in a raceme kind of inflorescence, so it can be called as the compound raceme or branched raceme. Okay. So you can see in case of alisma, and you can see in the case of Sclerophyllaria marylandentia. The other inflorescence is what we call as the spikelet kind of inflorescence. Now, what happens in case of a spikelet kind of inflorescence is that it is the characteristic features of Poaceae family. Okay, although it is also present in some of the other families, but it is the characteristic features of Poaceae family. Now, what is the importance here? Thing that is important here is that there is the formation of sterile bracts. That is what we call as the glumule. Okay, so we have got the sterile bract here. Okay, so this is sterile bract. We have got glumule. Okay, and then we have got as the um, reduced perianth, that is called as the laudicules. Okay. Now the perianth has been reduced here. This is called as the laudicule. Okay, and it is surrounded by two structures. The top one is known as the lemna. Okay, and the this is called as the this is the fertile bract. Okay, and then we have got the palea here. This is the palea. This one is called as the palea. Let me change the color so it will be easy for you to recognize it. And this is palea. Okay. This is this particular is palea, and this is the lemna. Okay. And then we have got the different styles. Okay. Then we have got ovary. This is the ovary here. Okay. Now the ovary is feathered here. Okay. Now the presence of the feathered ovary is one of the important characteristic of the Poaceae family. Okay. This is stigma. You see the ovary on the of the on the ovary. We have the style and the stigma. The stigma is feathery in reason. Okay. And then we have got all the anthers or the stamens. That is the formation of anther and the filament. Okay. The anthers here are dioecious in nature. Okay. And this feathery structure is the important characteristic of the racemose inflorescence. So this when we talk about spikelets, it's the characteristic features of the Poaceae family. Okay, they are attached on the spike inflorescence, and this spike is composed of various spikelets, and they are combined in different manner in the form of called as the rachis. Okay, so if this is what we call as one of the inflorescence. Okay. Now, inflorescence, we have got the lower glumerules here. Okay, we talked about glumule, and on the glumule, each of we have got the rachis, and on the each of the rachis now further divided into rachilla, and this rachilla further forms the floret. Now, this structure is the structure of the florets itself. So, when we are talking about florets, this structure is of the florets. Now, this is the structure of the inflorescence itself. We have got the upper glumule, and we have got the lower glumule. We have got the pedicel here. Now, this is also the pedicel. Now, the pedicel is is known as the rachis. Now, this main axis is called as the rachis. Now, your peduncle converts into rachis. Now, on the rachis, we have got the pedicel. This pedicel further grows into formation of the lower glumule, and then the extension of this pedicel happens, which is called as the rachilla. And on the rachilla, we have got different flowers. This caryopsis is formation there. Okay. And this particular flower, if we analyze this will come as this particular group one flower. Okay. So this is what we call as the pedicel. Okay, so we have got the pedicel here. We have got the glumule. This lower part, if you see this dark green in color, this is this particular is the glumule. Okay, and on the glumule we have got the upper glumule and the lower glumule here. Okay, and then we have got the two structure, that is one is the sterile lamina. Okay, and then we have got the pilia. Then we have got the ovary structure. The stigma is feathery in nature. Okay, this is one of the important characteristics. So when the anther releases the pollen grains, this particular feathery structure of the stigma, the pollen grains get attached to it, and further pollination takes place. Okay. Now this is the structure of the flower of the Poaceae family. This is the structure of the flower of the Cyperaceae and Junaceae family. Other kind of inflorescence is the catkin kind of inflorescence, the spike-like inflorescence with the unisexual apetalous flower, often pedented and falling as a unit. This is a typical inflorescence in case of Salix, Populus, Curus, Alnus, and Breech. One of the species belonging to polyphyletic genera of the gymnosperms, that is Emetiferae, what we known as the Morus alba or the mulberry leaf. Okay, so the mulberry flower has got the catkin kind of inflorescence. Now, what happens in case of catkin is that we have got the spike inflorescence, but in case of a spike inflorescence, we have got unisexual flower. Okay. Till now, we did not talk about sexuality of the flower. In case of catkin, we have got the unisexual flower. Okay, and there are no formation of the petals. So if you see on the male catkin, okay, and the female catkin, we have got catkins. Okay. So we know that in case of catkin, we do not have the male or the female flower on the same species. Okay, so they are not monoecious, they are dioecious, and so there we have got the male flower and the female flower in different. Okay. So we have got the anthers here. Okay, this we have got sepals. There is no formation of the petals here. Okay, similarly we have got the female flower with the style stigma and so on. This is the example of the mulberry. This is white mulberry, and this is the female catkin of the black mulberry or the Morus nigra. Another kind of inflorescence is the spadic inflorescence. When the spike inflorescence is covered by a sheath, like is covering on this, that is called as the spathe, is becomes the spadic inflorescence. Okay, so we have got the this is what we call as the spadic. The presence of the spadic is called as seen as the. Now this is covered by a leathery or structure of structure, that is what we call as the spathe. Okay, this is a leathery kind of a structure. Okay. So when you see the example, it will be more clear. Okay. So we have got the pistillate flowers and the staminate flowers there. Okay. These are formation of the clusters of the flowers, and we have got the spadix, which includes the fleshy spike or the cluster of unisexual flowers or the epipetalous flower. Now what happens here is important to understand is that all the flower, so this is basically, if you see this particular structure, it represents like a spike inflorescence. Okay, so when we say when the spike is covered by a sheath like covering by a spathe, it is called as pedix. Okay, so what is happening, there is no formation of pedicel. There this all the flowers here are sessile in nature, that is why it is called as the spike. Okay, now this spike is covered by a sheath like structure, okay, or what we call as the spathe. Then it becomes the spadic inflorescence. Now this spadic form seen in case of Ericaceae, Mujaceae and Palmaceae. Okay, let's see the diagrams here. Okay, so examples are the members of the Mujaceae, Palmaceae, and also seen in many. These are seen in them basically into the monocotyledonous flowers. Okay, so if you see the structure of the banana flower, okay, so we see that we have got a leathery structure that covers the in the spike inflorescence. There is no pedicel formation here. This is the important characteristic of the spadic inflorescence. Now, if I say what I said earlier, that if you understand how the things are moving, it will be easy for you to understand. So, spadic inflorescence originate from the spike inflorescence when there is a formation of a spathe. The next kind of inflorescence is the capitulum kind of inflorescence, where the nodes get converted into a head-like structure. That is what we also call as the capitulum, or the capitula is basically what we call as the head. Okay. Now on the head itself, the flowers are present. It's a typical characteristic of Asteraceae family. That is also earlier it was also known as the Compositae family. Now it is surrounded by different kinds of flower. This is the capitulum or the head. Okay. On the head itself, we have this area is called as the receptacle, and we have got the disc flourish towards the inner side and ray flourish towards the outer side. Okay. If you see the structure of the disc flourish, we have got the ovary. Okay, and we have got the bilobed stigma style here. Okay, so if we do not see that, we do not have the ligule formation here. We have got the corolla that is very small, okay, but we have got the ligule formation. Now this is called as the ray florets. In case here, we have got the hairly structure that is the modified calyx. Okay. So here the calyx, these are basically a modified uh, mm, calyx that is known as the pappus of hair. So if you see the structure of the capitulum, okay, what we know popularly, the sunflower, that's the capitulum kind of inflorescence. If we see the dissection of that, we see that there is the formation of corolla. Okay, this is the ray florets, and towards the center we have got the disc florets. So if you see the structure, that these are the formation of the ray. So when we see this, okay, so we have the ligules here. Okay, so if you see, this is the ligule that is coming out of the ray florets, and towards the center we have got the disc florets. The other kind of inflorescence that is quite popular in case of that is the characteristic of a family Umbelliferae. Now, this is in case of Umbelliferae, there are two kinds of umbel formation. That is the simple umbel and the compound umbel. Okay. So, you remember that when we talked about panicle kind of inflorescence, it said that raceme further when get branched, it forms the panicle inflorescence. Now, when umbel gets branched, it basically forms your compound umbel. Okay, this is how we can remember the inflorescence type. Okay, because in many cases, many students of botany, it happens that we used to forget the kind of inflorescence. Okay, that is how we will easy to understand the structure of the inflorescence and understand how to remember the kind of inflorescence. Okay. So what happens here that we have already seen that the internode gets condensed. So all the flowers originates from the single node. Okay. That is what we call as the formation of umbrella like a structure. What happens here is that we have already seen that the younger flower is towards the center and the oldest flower is towards the periphery. Now that is what the kind of inflorescence that is seen in the your umbelliferae. The compound umbel is the further extension of this. Now, what happens is that we know that there is a bracts formation or the involucre formation. From each of this, we have got the umbel. This is branched. This particular is umbel is known as umbellate. Okay. This entire is a umbel inflorescence, and this is the umbellate. Now, if we assume this as a umbel for this is umbel. Okay, and it's when individual, it will be umbel like structure. This will be umbellate, and all this umbellate will form a umbel again and an umbel like structure. This is called as the compound umbel. Okay, so this is seen in case of Dacus carota, coriandrum, and this is the characteristic feature of the Umbelliferae family. Now, the other kind of inflorescence is the racemose kind of corym kind of inflorescence. Now, what happens when we saw in case of umbel is that the inflorescence, internode, there is the loss of the internode. So, all the flowers are originating from the nodes itself. But what happens in case of corym inflorescence, that the flower that is all the flower there is a formation of internode. Okay, so this is the internode formation. So this is the node. Okay, this is the node. We have got the internode here. Okay. But the pedicels of the oldest flower will be long enough. Okay, the than the other part. So the oldest flower will have the longest pedicel, and the the older flower will have the longest pedicel, and the younger flower will be having a shorter pedicel, in such a manner that they will be get arranged in a straight line or in a formation of a small curve like a structure. Okay. This is what we call as the corym. So if you remember, if you can recall it, the corym is basically an extension of raceme inflorescence, where the pedicel of the older is elongated itself to make in a horizontal kind of arrangement. Okay. So the flower possesses the longer stalk or the pedicel than the upper ones, and the flowers are brought more or less to the same level. Okay, it is seen in the case of Aberis amara. So you can see here. Okay, so although it seems that there is no formation of internode, but there are the formation of internode. Although it can be a shorter of size, but there is formation of the internodes, and from the internode the flowers are coming and forming a simple coming to a same level. Now this is kind of the corym inflorescence. Again, the corym inflorescence can be other further branched out, and this will be forming out the compound corym. The one of the main thing that we know is that we have been hearing about the cauliflower. Cauliflower is basically an compound coryn. Okay, so if we cut the section of the vertical section of the cauliflower, we'll finding that there will be a main peduncle, and on from this the different pedicels are originating, and further flowering are there. So the youngest flower will be towards the center, and the oldest flower will be towards the periphery. This is what we call as the compound family, and this is the finest example that we have is the cauliflower.